in fact, and you know, it's not the same as what we're doing, although it is similar. But one of the governor's actions was to not to fully open state government offices until the 14th of June. They are going to begin to phase in more activity over the next several weeks, but the state offices will not be fully open under a new normal until the 14th of June. Now, a lot of those offices are concentrated in Marion County, where the outbreak has been significantly different than it has been here. That's not to say that it isn't a serious issue here, but we may not need to go until the 14th of June. But I certainly would not want to rush out and have our doors open in the next couple of weeks.
Well, if you're wanting to wait till later to open, I'd suggest the 18th for taxes only. Then whatever after that, whenever. If you don't open till the 1st of June, why? There'd be a 2-week period there for taxes only.
The due date on taxes, the 10th or the 11th? So I don't want to be on the spot, Terry, but since the question's been raised about the possibility, or at least the idea, of the building being open for taxes, could you provide a little bit of comment on what you're seeing as far as collection? You know, it's important to note that there are no penalties for late payment until I think July 11th, I think.
Yes, July 11th.
So, I mean.
So they do have 60 days as a leeway.
Yeah.
People are mailing in their payments. They're going online, they're using the phone. But like you say, the older generation, it's different. Dropbox outside, we've seen several people. Actually, one gentleman it looked like he was about to get his hand stuck in the Dropbox. Then my thought was, how are we going to get that out? How are we going to get his arm out there? So that was a little panic that day. But people are using that, and if you explain to them that if they give us a self-addressed envelope with a stamp, we will send them a receipt. And I think that kind of calms people down a little bit.
Are you hearing, is there a skepticism amongst the public that there won't in fact be late fees? Are people hesitant to go beyond that due date?
No, we get phone calls and they'll say, when is the due date? And you say May 11th, and then they say, well, isn't there something about July?
Yeah. So
they know. Most people know. Yeah, most people know.
I mean, we have to have, I mean, this is a discussion that we have to have, and we have to determine these things. So, my thoughts are, just my personal opinion only, is that if we did not have online payment, if we did not have drop boxes, if we did not have the ability to mail, and if the state hadn't done our work for us and determined that there would be no late fees, if none of those things were happening, then we would be severely hampering the public's ability to comply with paying their property taxes.
And the other one, they can go to First Merchants.
Yes, correct.
Do the drive-through, and when you tell somebody that, I mean, if they're gonna drive here, they can drive to Mooresville or Morgantown,
Right.
but they can go through the drive-through, and I've seen that pick up a lot.
Yeah.
That, our deposits are coming in from there,
Yeah.
I'm kind of shocked, but I'm glad you're doing that.
I actually did that with one of my installments last year, and it was very, very easy. So they can go to Mooresville, First Merchants, or Morgantown, and freely make their tax payment that way. So if we did not have all of these options, I would be much more inclined to open the building to pay for the purposes of paying property taxes. But I think that we've provided just a multitude of alternatives. And then when you combine that with the peace of mind that should come from the governor's comments that there aren't going to be late fees assessed until after the 11th of July, we've got a situation where potentially bringing that many people into the building could produce more of a public health concern than the benefit that it provides. So I would not be in favor of reopening just for one day to pay taxes. That's my personal position. Do you have strong opinions on that either way?
I'd rather hold off. I'm kind of in the same thought process as what you are. More people don't pay attention to the 6 feet. They don't put hand sanitizers, use hand sanitizer. They don't wear their mask. You know, we're all sitting here. So for me to say, yeah, bring them on in, you know, I don't think we can do that.
You know, it's a good suggestion and one that needs to be discussed. And if there weren't so many other alternatives, you know, we may be in a situation where we have to do that. I just personally believe that we've made enough alternatives, or there have been enough alternatives made for us as well, in combination of those two things, that we don't need to invite the potential health ramifications that could produce, personally. Any questions or other thoughts for Terry? Thank you very much. So we have, first of all, to get past this memo, do we have any further discussion on that and potentially a recommendation?
And go ahead and make a recommendation, we adopt the framework for the offices, the loosen the restrictions for the county offices. And given Josh the authority, if he needs to tweak it or anything, after working with the department heads and the employees, be able to do that, Josh.
So we have a motion to adopt this memo that'll go out detailing how the buildings will be operated and the type of supplies that will be provided. We have a motion to approve that, and it includes the ability for an edit as we receive feedback. Is there a second? I'll second the motion. Any further discussion? All those in favor of the motion signify by stating aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. A motion on that part carries 3-0. And now we need to contemplate the actual phase-in of reopening. Several important dates have already been mentioned. One, the state's decision to fully open on June 14th. One thing that's not been mentioned that we discovered during our call last week is that the courts, which are obviously collectively operating our courthouse and probation department, they have a report due, I believe it is, to the Supreme Court by May 18th on how they're going to operate, and that their current orders from the Supreme Court limiting access are in effect until that date. So that's something to take into consideration with anything that we may do as well. Thoughts on staging in a reopening? I know we've had bits and pieces of this have come up as we discuss the other component.
Myself, I definitely think that we need to kind of listen to our emergency workers or health officer. I'm more inclined to doing a two-stage approach. Make sure that we have all the protection measures in place, marking on the floors, sneeze protectors in, making sure that the employees have, the comfort by having the masks, those that they want with the hand sanitizer. Bringing them back in at least a week from now, get the maintenance department and everything else is in place by then. And then as far as opening up this building, I'm totally thinking the end of the month as well. Or maybe the June 4th. June 4th is on a Monday, and election day is the next day. That's my thoughts on it.
I certainly agree, we need to work, we had strong caution from Dr. Broderick to, and we've been hearing this from lots of other sources as well, that when this day came, and it's here now, there would not be an immediate flipping of the switch and everything would become normal again. We present a great risk to ourselves and others by doing that. So we have a full month to work with between now and June 1st, June 1. Just if that's a target date, gives us a full 4 weeks to begin to phase things in. The thoughts I was having over the weekend, and it had to be over the weekend because we weren't entirely sure where things were going until about 3 o'clock on Friday. But taking advantage of 4 full weeks and erring on the side of caution, just a few days I'll throw out into the discussion, would consider that we would continue to work on limited staff and remote work where possible through the close of business May 8th, which would be the end of this week. And then the week of May 11th, at department head discretion, begin to allow them to ramp up to full staffing by the close of business May 15th. So that would give us a week of limited work, essentially currently as we are. And then another full week for department heads to begin to fully staff their office by the close of business May 15th, which is a Friday. The courts are under the order until May 18th, so that accomplishes the, just the opportunity to somewhat coincide with that. And that starting on May 18th, that we'd be operating fully staffed, but would remain closed to the public for 2 weeks. So they can continue to take appointments, continue to conduct business, but that would give our department heads and employees 2 full weeks of operating somewhat back to normal in preparation for the doors to be open on June 1st, which is 4 full weeks from today's date. That also gives us plenty of time to make some course corrections if we determine that we need to make some adjustments. Dr. Broderick has also spoken a great deal about facts may present themselves where we do have to make changes. That goes without saying. Certainly if we have a spike in cases, if we have a spike in cases from internally, all of that is going to have to be evaluated and adjustments would have to be made. But that would give us a full 4 weeks to phase in and ramp up. So those are my thoughts. Again, no pride in authorship there. I've only had a couple of days to think about it. Just like to have continued discussion.
I'm fine with the framework we laid out as far as doing everything and getting us all back to 100% June 1st. I don't have no problem with that. The only other thing that I've not heard mentioned, other than I know a lot of the citizens, not just in Indiana, but across the country, think that we're really overstepping our boundaries and everything else, and I can't help that. I think we're elected to do our best to protect county employees first, and the public as well. one other thing that nobody's not thrown out there, and I don't know whether Dr. Roderick did in the meeting or not, but, I know if you're going into some of these stores, you actually have to have a mask before you're allowed in. A lot of it's limited number of people, like the shopping carts. I know that's a big stretch, but I mean, the masks do help. It's not really protecting you as much as it is protecting everybody that you're dealing with. That's a lot of times people lose sight of that, but, I know they're awkward, especially with glasses, steaming them all up and all this stuff, but I mean, did he even bring that up in the meeting where, hey, we're not gonna do like some of these other businesses, you don't have a mask on, you don't come in here. I know it's really overstretching probably, but I guess I can bring it up.
Yeah, I don't recall that he had that thought. And that is part of, those are very good points, and that is part of the reason why you don't want to just determine that, the restrictions have been loosened, so now we can be fully open. Because we would end up with several people in here that may not want to or don't practice all of the recommendations, but by continuing to limit the public, except for by appointment only, for the next several weeks, hopefully we have perhaps not, fully gotten this behind us, but we're so much further down the path of recovering from this that those concerns, if they're not followed, become a little bit less of a concern. The state is going to recommend, and they're recommending, not mandating, but recommending utilization of a mask, I think, through the end of this month. It says so on that chart, I just can't see it from, it's the very last line, I think.
Recommended through June 12th, looks like, 13th.
Yeah, there we go. And then optional after that. And since they're optional now, there's not a mandate to use them now, but they're recommended through the 13th.
And I know the sneeze protectors are gonna make the employees feel a lot more comfortable, I hope. And it's gonna protect us not only for this, but even the flu or common cold is gonna protect them, but, I know that might be another measure that kind of helps the employees feel a little more comfortable, but that's just my thoughts.
Yeah,
It is overstated, that's for sure.
And we're in a very good position, and it is subject to change, although hopefully it only would change to be more favorable. We're in a very good position as it relates to inventory on cleaning, disinfectant material, masks, gloves, and things of that nature. We have more than enough ability to provide all of that so that employees don't have to wonder where those things are going to come from. And I would welcome Mr. Oak's comments from the city. Certainly we want to try to do as much of this together as we can, although our ability to do so is, we're dealing with different realities on some parts.
The city and the county to accommodate each other as much as possible, and I think we're in a common position here. The city has already chosen that June 1st will be their public opening date, so I think if we can all agree on that, we're going to move forward there.
Thank you for that feedback, I appreciate that. I don't want to rush this discussion because it is one of the more important things that we've had to contend with. I also don't want to belabor a discussion either if we're fairly close to being on a similar page. So, further thoughts or possible action?
I would go ahead and throw out the motion that we, go ahead and phase in, like was outlined, by the chairman for this week, and then the following week, get our employees up to full strength by, May 15th, with the building opening up, June 1st. I would recommend.
So we have a motion on the floor to adopt a framework that would have us at limited staff, essentially current status, through the end of this week. And then next week, department heads make the transition to being fully staffed by the end of the second week. At the beginning of our third week, which would be May 18th, we would operate at full staff capacity, but would continue to remain closed to the public with the exception of public meetings and by appointment. And the appointment process is spelled out in the guidelines that we talked about a few minutes ago, and that we would fully reopen on June 1st. So that motion for a framework is on the floor. Is there a second? I'll second the motion. Any other discussion? I would make a note that Mr. Wisco has prepared an order on transitioning us to full operation. Obviously, there are big holes in it in the fact that we need to fill dates in. So the only comment I would make on the motion is that once we pass this framework, that Jim, if you could key that into your order, and then we can make a motion on a clean order to transition. So motion on the floor on the framework is made and seconded. Did you have a further comment, Josh?
I just wanted to ask a few clarification points. The first one, I did want to say Dan did speak up by text message in favor of the plan that you outlined, Ryan. Are you looking to pass this today and when Jim fills that in, or do we need to have a special meeting to affirm this at a later date? That was one question. And the second question, there are some departments with closer quarters than others. After the end of next week, if some of those offices are still of the opinion that they want to stagger some of their workforce, is that permitted or is that not permitted? I just want to be able to answer that question correctly. And I know that they can let their employees do whatever, but I know from the pay voucher side that you will all approve that. So I want to make sure that that's clear one way or the other.
Thoughts on that?
I know you are gonna have some offices that's got several people in them, that's, gonna be hard to do the social distance. But, like I made the comment earlier, right now, I'm not even really just sitting right here. So it's, I think we need to leave it up to the department head's discretion myself.
Beyond the 15th of May? So what would the date be then?
But it definitely ought to be by June 1st, so.
Yes, I would. Now, so I'm very much in favor of not being overly restrictive. We've always said from the beginning of all this that we don't want to, we don't know how to run these individual departments best. The department heads do. At the same time, I've heard from several that there's backlogs of work and that they would like to have a couple of weeks of operating full staff before the doors are opened. That's been the comment of a number of department heads. So I just would not want it creating a situation where maybe a department or two came down to the wire and they really weren't comfortable or ready by June 1st. That's my only concern. I mean, it's a pendulum and it tends to swing to one extreme or another. So that would be my only concern. I have no problem with greater latitude on the department head side. I just would not want to be in a situation where we had departments saying that they needed more time to be ready for June 1st.
I want to make sure that we are working on it.
So we have a motion on the floor and a second. I think if there's a consensus that we're going to change the date that would require full staffing, we probably need to let this motion die and start over. All right, so there's been a motion made and seconded. All those in favor of the motion signify by stating aye. Those opposed to the motion, same sign. Aye. We have a motion on the floor in a second, so we've got to get past this one. So what are the votes?
So the motion actually fails on me now.
Well, the motion that was made included a date of being fully staffed by May 15th.
Yes.
During the question and comments time, it was suggested that we give the department heads more latitude beyond that date. Did I misunderstand?
Even with a fully staffed though, I mean, you're still gonna allow the department heads latitude. If they're not comfortable with social distancing in that particular office, they're still gonna be allowed to let them work remotely, right? I mean, is that gonna be just a drop dead 15th, you're gonna have everyone on back in this building? Is that what I'm hearing then?
Well, that's what I interpreted the motion as. That we would be fully staffed by the 15th. That departments would have the discretion to ramp up towards that date, but that they'd be prepared to be fully staffed by that time.
I'd go ahead and withdraw my motion then, the original made then. Cause I think the department heads ought to have that latitude. If they're not comfortable after, the 15th, where they feel like they got the social distancing met in that particular department, we ought to leave it up to the department heads to where they can have the time to get that done. But I still kinda think we ought to fully be first, where I'm coming from.
Yeah,
We
I
don't
know.
give that department that latitude, if they wanna let them work remotely till they can figure this out.
Yeah, I don't disagree with giving ample time. We're essentially providing 2 weeks to do that already.
Ryan, if I might just chime in and only for the sake of conversation, to point out as an option that I included in the initial draft was that the order that I believe was passed first, regarding employees who either may have tested, may believe to be ill, et cetera. I mean, and that provides discretion and could remain in place.
That's a good point, yes. And that has a sunset at the end of the public health emergency or by rescission of the board. So if I may recap what you're saying to make sure I've got it right. That previous action gives discretion on remote work and things of that nature anyway, including certain paid leaves under certain conditions. So are you suggesting that we could stick with the dates that we've outlined, but yet at the end of the day, a department head would still have some discretion to, I'm apprehensive about being too restrictive, too loose, and also unclear. And I feel like we are probably hitting on all 3 of those right now.
Yes.
My comment was only to remind the commissioners of that prior order, and if it were to remain in place, that does address or mitigate Kenny's
Kenny's
point.
concerns. Okay. Does that make sense to you, Kenny?
Yeah.
Do we have a motion at this time?
Well, that was gonna be my next question of Mr. Wisco, is where do we stand on, we had a motion made and seconded. I called for a vote, but didn't have a lot of participation in the vote. So where do we go from here to clean this up and perhaps go back to the drawing board?
I think that motion failed, and it would be appropriate for a new motion.
Okay.
Do we have a motion or do we not?
No.
The motion that was made failed because we had a subsequent discussion that kind of sent it off the rails a little. So important discussion, but nevertheless brought into question the time frame. So we need a new motion on specific dates, ramping up to a transition so that those can be placed into the order that Jim has, and then we can move forward from there.
I'll make a motion that we, this building be accessible to the public on June 1, and we do whatever needs to be done to get department heads, employees, or whatever up to speed to do that.
We have a motion on the floor to be open to the public on June 1 and to do whatever is needed to be ready to do that. Is there a second?
I will second that.
Motion made and seconded. Any other discussion? The only comment that I would make is we're accomplishing the very same goal of being open by June 1st. I just want to give a strong recommendation that departments be fully ready for that, and would recommend that they consider operating at full capacity for at least a week to try to mitigate any potential backlog and to get comfortable with the way things are going to work once the building is open to the public. So the motion on the floor is made and seconded. Any other questions or comments? All those in favor of the motion signify by stating aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries 3-0. Jim, do you have what you need to put that into?
I believe so.
Okay.
Can I ask a few comments? While we were having that discussion, Stephanie Elliott sent a message through the chat related to COVID to remind everyone that the election has been moved to June 2nd, that the last day to request an absentee ballot is May 21st, and that June 1st is the last day of early voting, and the voting sites will not be in this building. I believe they're at high school, and I don't know the other places.
Early voting at Martinsville and Mooresville schools. There's a specific building identified as Paul Hadley in Mooresville, I think Bell here. And then on actual election day, that will broaden from those two schools to then include Monrovia and Eminence, I believe. That's right. Which was good work on behalf of the election board, because dealing with all of this, our two biggest concerns as far as big public events was property taxes and elections. And, you know, it hit us at a very busy time, so.
Comment to department heads, to let you know, as I said before, Steve Linday has the masks. We will coordinate getting to each building instead of having every single person reach out to Steve individually. Thanks.
And as far as the order itself is concerned, Jim, are you ready to highlight that, or do you need another moment?
Just give me just a minute.
Sure.
Ryan, can I bring up a point for you?
Of course.
I think if they're gonna open and wear PPE, that there should be some sort of training, because I can't tell you the number of people I've watched wear the same gloves everywhere they go, pull their mask down 400 times, touch their car keys, their phones, get in the car, sit and touch everything, then touch their mask, hold their mask. If you're gonna put your mask on, you should be touching your face. And you should be washing your hands, at least with hand sanitizer. So I can get with Steve and we can give you a paper that says these are, Tori and I have been exposed, I can't tell you the number of people that tested positive. Donnie hasn't had not one single person test positive for COVID from patient contact. Neither is the sheriff's department, due to proper PPE. So if you open the building, you can wait until, this is gonna go on for months, because people are at home, they haven't been exposed, they don't have PPE. But if you don't have proper techniques with the people here, they're gonna be, I mean, just like wearing a mask. 6 feet away, it's all about if somebody coughs or sneezes, how many microns does your mask filter, how far is it aerosolized. We can sit here right now, this close, and as long as I'm not coughing or sneezing, there's not an issue. People get so worked up about things that they're not educated about. So I would think it'd be important that we put together a document for people to know how to properly use it.
Thank you, Mark, and that was somewhat part of the phone call of, you know, if we're gonna distribute PPE, it was more relative to the cleaning solutions, that if we're going to distribute things, that we provide instructions on their use, so there's consistency, and just so there's not a question as to, you know, the way it was done. And I think that same thought process can certainly apply to the distribution of the equipment as well, that they be provided with instructions and guidelines.
I'll get with Josh and, Steve and Donnie, and we'll come up with something.
Did I give you enough time?
Nearly.
Yeah, okay. Essentially what this, I can start to highlight this for him. Essentially what this is doing in this particular action is laying out the transition to opening, which we've largely hit on probably all of these things in our discussion so far. That county offices will continue to operate by appointment as much as possible, and will continue to encourage that business be conducted by means other than in-person visits wherever possible. That individuals entering the building will continue to be given a screen. This is primarily the questions that are encouraged to be asked, really even over phone before they ever even get here. It states that county employees will have access to provided face masks and gloves for personal protection, as we've discussed today. And that each department or agency shall continue to communicate with their employees and implement the plan to facilitate social distancing, limit the number of individuals in an office at any given time, facilitate proper hygiene, facilitate proper cleaning and sanitation, all of those things which we discussed as well earlier today. And then this would conclude, given the emergency nature, it would sunset at the rescission of the emergency declarations made by both the federal and state government, or upon rescission by the Board of Commissioners, whichever occurs first. And in this particular case, probably the biggest component of interest is actually a date for reopening, which has been set by a vote of 3-0 as Monday, June 1st, 2020.
And I think that covers it, and then I want to clarify too that I have specifically that the administration building will be accessible to the public commencing on June 1st. The county employees and offices will resume reporting to work as normal not later than June 1st, notwithstanding the prior order that we discussed. And the department heads may begin transitioning their staff to reporting to work as normal prior to June 1st, but no earlier than May 18th. Is that correct?
I think that captures the spirit of all of the discussion that we've had. So with that outline, we have an order on establishing our transition plan. I would entertain, if there aren't any further questions or discussion, I would entertain a motion on that.
We'll make a motion, we move the Morgan County Executive Order to approve the transition plan as outlined before us.
A motion on the floor to approve the order as discussed here in the meeting. Is there a second? I'll second the motion. Any further discussion? All those in favor of adoption signify by stating aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries 3-0. Thank you all for your participation and hard work on that. And my apologies to the public for having to watch all of that process. But our, one thing that's been consistent, I think your elected officials and definitely your department heads and county employees have tried to make the best of a challenging time and have tried to provide services while also being safe and healthy. So I appreciate everyone's hard work on that common goal. We'll move into the rest of our business, which first off will be the bid opening on our paving program. Do you mind? Well, this opens. Tony, you have the ability to type in the numbers into the
Yes.
spreadsheet? Okay.
Should we sit right here?
I'm gonna rely on you to keep track of the numbers. Is that all right?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Okay.
So we have received, 4, 5, 6 bids, for all or parts of our paving program. I'll start by opening All Star Paving. Total of 13 projects between all 3 districts. That's what you see.
Well, there are more than that. They only bid on 13. Did they have a project number? It should have a.
Yes, and it's just listed
That should be, yes, that's.
1 through 313.
Yes.
I just wanted to make sure this was gonna represent everything.
Yes,
Okay.
yes, that's correct.
So All Star Paving, they only bid on about 5 projects. Project 3-1, which is Carroll Lane, in the amount of $32,103.05.
Okay.
Rosalind Drive, Project 3-6, $30,787.00.
Okay.
Project 3-7, Stephen Drive, $24,648.09. Project 3-8, Daniel Street, $28,116.70. And Project 3-10, Lynn Drive at Crestview Heights, $30,787. That's a partial bid total of $146,441.84. Midwest Paving bid on all projects. So Tony, I'll read 1 through 3-13 and not list each row by name.
Okay.
1-1, $120,096.30.
Say that one more time?
$120,096.30.
Got it.
1-2, $43,177.20.
Okay.
1-3, $128,555.60.
Okay.
1-4, $50,693.40. 1-5, $291,924.20. 1-6, $86,776.40. 1-7, $50,596.70. 1-8, $107,008.00. 2-1, $102,984.20. 2-2, $116,208.50. 2-3, $119,412.30. 2-4, $124,869.50. 2-5, $50,583.60, $13.20. 2-8, $121,695.40. 2-9, $121,695.40.
I'm sorry, hold on one second. They have the same for both 2.8 and 2.9?
Yes, sir.
Okay, that's what I want to make sure.
Yes. 2-10, $41,716, I'm sorry. $41,761.10.
Okay.
2-11, $79,038.20. 2-12, $46,196.30.
I'm sorry, can you say that one more time?
2-12 is a bid total of $46,196.30.
Okay.
3-1, $32,730.80. 3-2, $27,011.70. 3-3, $30,373.80. 3-4, $58,104.60. 3-5, $22,547.60. 3-6, $32,213.90. 3-7, $26,572.70. 3-8, $30,029.80. 3-9, $98,829.15. 3-10, $32,213.90. 3-11, $79,827.20. 3-12, $16,467.30. And 3-13, $62,762.40.
If you could reread 3-12, sorry.
$16,467.30.
Okay.
Our next bid is from E&B Paving. They have bid on most projects, but not all. 1-1, $101,350.70.
Okay.
1-2, $39,034.80. 1-3, $108,523.35. Project 4, $43,737.20. 1-5, $265,907.10. 1-6, $72,441.40. 1-7, $52,714.35. 1-8, $89,737.75. 2-1, $92,019.70. 2-2, $101,694.10. 23, 99,533.70, 99,533.70. 24, $107,128.00. 25, $47,633.30. 2-6, $67,714.30. 2-7, $40,971.20. 2-8, $105,067.20. Exact same bid on 2-9,
$105,067.20.
that's correct.
Okay.
2-10, $38,781.90.
Okay.
2-11, $68,324 even. 2-12, $43,030.20. There are no bids on projects 3-1 through project 3-8. Project 9 in District 3, $93,404.30. No bid on 3-10. And the final bid that D&B has offered is on project 3-11, $71,888.60. No bid on 3-12 or 3-13.
Okay.
Wallace Construction is the next bidder. Project 1, $109,378.88. Project 2, $39,088.06. Project 3, District 1, $120,480.71. Project 4, $45,799 even. Project 5, $283,789.38. Project 6, $79,002.92. 7, $57,258.51. Project 8, $97,711.90. Moving to District 2, Project 1, $94,526.98. Project 2, $106,855.89.
I'm sorry. Is that one more time, please?
Project 2, District 2, $106,855.89. Project 3, $110,570.48. Project 4, $115,776.65. Project 5, $45,679.85. Project 6, $74,213.86. 7, $38,483.29. It'll cost you.
Yep.
$38,483, I'm sorry. It'll cost you an error apparently. $38,438.29. Project 2-8, $108,191.20. Project 9, $112,430.20. 10, $37,232.08. 11, $75,119.70. Project 12, $41,816.79. Moving on to District 3, Project 1, $27,167.89. Project 2, $23,217.35. 3, $26,122.65. Project 4, $52,974.76. Project 5, $18,909.68. 3-6, $29,720.80. 7, $21,628.39. 8, $25,250.35. 9, $92,764.44. 10, $29,122.40. Project 11, $73,368.80. 12, $11,396.38. And final project, District 3, 3-13, $57,937.50. Next bidder is Milestone Contractors. And they have done us a favor and bid on all projects.
They are bidding on all projects?
Yes, they are. One $138,858.
138,858?
In case.
What was that one?
Yes, 138,858.0.
I know, that always gives me 6 cents.
Project 2, $57,924.50.
That's true.
3, $151,844. 4, $63,146. 5, $336,518.25. 6, $104,728. 7, $70,371.00. 8, $125,205.
It's his tree, it's the problem. No, the neighbor's tree.
District 2-1, $123,612.00. 2, $138,091.25. Project 3, $139,306. 4, $140,727.50. 5, $71,524. 6, $86,326.50. 7, $57,536.75. Project 8, $145,298.50. 9, $135,708.50. 10, $55,165.20.
Could you repeat that one more?
$55,165.20. Project 11, $92,981.50. 2-12, $57,481 even. Moving on to District 3, Project 1, $45,820.05. 2, $39,446.75. 3, $41,691.00. 4, $70,808.0. 5, $35,924.50. 6, $44,238.00. 7, $38,852.0. Project 8, $41,752. 9, $113,627.30. 10, $47,196. 11, $86,928. 312, $28,672.0. And 313, $79,586.0. Final bidder is Grady Brothers. They have also bid on all projects. District 1, Project 1. My apologies to you, Mark. If I had known they were all gonna bid, I would have had you go first. Sorry about that. Project, because oftentimes these guys are so busy this time of year, we don't have bids on every single road, on almost all bidders, so. Project 1-1, $119,112.70. Project 2, $44,609.70. Project 3, $131,926.85. 4, $62,301.40. 5, $319,648.70. 6, $86,164.20. 7, $59,585.0. 8, $106,016.50. Moving on to District 2, Project 1, $114,818.40. Project 2, $128,841.80. 3, $130,556.70. 4, $136,292.0. 5, $58,702.10. 6, $87,808.30. 7, $47,706.10. 8, $125,841.90. That same bid holds true for Project 9. Project 10, $43,928.50. Project 11, $82,414.70. Project 12, $48,139.80. District 3, Project 1, $32,866.90. 2, $27,311.80. 3, $30,498.30. 4, $57,167.60. 5, $21,894.40. 6, $31,915.90. 7, $25,900.80. 8, $29,998.30. 9, $102,088.55. 10, $31,915.90. 11, $77,060.20. 7760.20. Project 12, $12,881.50. Final project, Project 13, $62,124.40. Do we need to repeat any of those?
At this time, no.
All of them. I couldn't resist that.
What I would entertain a motion that we, having read the bids into the public record, that we turn these over to the engineer for review and possible award at our next meeting.
So move.
Motion to table for engineer review and possible action on the 18th. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Any other discussion or comments?
Yes. I want to table all of District 1 until after we find out for sure if we get this community crossing grant. If we do not get that, then I want to use this money to do the roads that was on that project.
Understood. We, the initial estimate that I had for all of these bids was about 2.2 million. From the numbers we just got, it was 2.17 million, so a little bit under what my estimate was. So we still have in our current budget, about $800,000 to $900,000, which we do plan on using for match. Getting match money with community crossings means that we'll be able to do what we initially set out for community crossings, plus $1 million worth of additional roads as well. I understand your concerns, and we're more than willing, obviously, to table that in that district until we find out. But I'll spend the next 2 weeks, we'll put a review together, I'll put together the budget numbers and everything. We'll review the bids, make sure that all the responsible bidders have all the documentation, all the bid forms, everything they need. And then we will have discussions with paving companies, and then we'll talk about scheduling.
I just wanna be sure.
Absolutely, understood.
Any other discussion? Motion is made and seconded. All those in favor of the motion signify by stating aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries 3-0. And then Tony, you go ahead and move into the updates that you have.
Yes, so there are 2 updates that I do want to talk about. One, this is in District 3, Old State Road 67, something I need to bring to the Commissioner's attention. We will need to go to the County Council for additional appropriations for this. This is somewhat of an emergency fix. I put together a small packet to show kind of a project location overall, and then a little bit more in-depth second page, a little more showing where the location will be. If you go to the 3rd page, is actually an aerial view pulled off of Google Maps from March of 2018. And if you actually look at the edge of the road, you can see from that Google Earth aerial view some of the road disassociation that it's showing, it's present. So it's actually showing up on Google Earth. And then the 4th page, or 4 pictures, I credit the highway department in the fact that once this was brought to my attention, I went out there, took a look at it. Obviously, we knew that we had to have something done. I went back out there to go take before pictures from this year, and they had already came back through and put in some compacted aggregate. So what you're seeing on that, the 4 pictures on that page 4, the top 2 were after the repair, about a day after the repair was done. You can already see the compacted ag is there, and it is a travelable lane. However, it is somewhat still an issue. The 2 lower pictures were actually the before from last year, not quite a year ago, within days or so of last year. They had a very similar issue. What's happening is just north of the road, we're losing the hill. There is a water line under there. We at first suspected that might have been contributing to this, but that is not the overall and only extenuating factor. The trees that are there are giving it away too. The trees are starting to slant at an angle. What's happening is there's slough right there, and we're starting to lose part of that road. So I actually contacted a local contractor. Wallace came out there, took a quick look for no other reason than to give us an estimate to go forward to what we need to ask the council. So if you look on the last page, there is an estimate from Wallace. What we would end up doing is actually taking out about a 400, if you look center line of road, about a 400-foot path, swath if you will, 8 feet down and 20 feet out from the center line. We would excavate all of that, remove all the trees, and then bench it up with a solid base of soil, stone, ag, everything you need, and then pave over it. And that comes to about $220,000, a little less than $220,000. We can continue to put Band-Aids on it for now. At some point, it will no longer be, we'll no longer be able to do that, and we will have a little less travel lane. So this is something that again, we will come to the next commissioner meeting with a letter that we want to take for additional appropriation to the county council, pending your approval then at the next commission. Pending any of your questions for this area, this project, I've got one other project to talk about.
Certainly agree that we're gonna lose that That's obvious, and it's a pretty heavily traveled road. I suspect that when 2021 comes and 37 is closed, and obviously that traffic will be diverted to 67, this road's gonna get a lot busier. And to be able to make the repair in advance of that is something that would be important. The only concern that I would have is just our financial standing. I would not have had a concern financially had it been, under normal circumstances. So that's my only question mark is does our revenue stream from gasoline taxes and other sources, allow us enough comfort to do this? Now we have unappropriated money, and that's what you're talking about accessing. So as long as we have a financial comfort with it, I'm certainly comfortable moving forward. But it also is in my district, but my thoughts on it are primarily driven by the additional traffic that will see with the interstate.
Absolutely. I have talked with the auditor briefly about this, not this one in particular, but overall general revenue fund. We do have some financial flexibility. In the next couple of weeks, and it should be prior to our next meeting here, we should have a better understanding about how the LRS and motor vehicle highway funds have been affected. So we will have a much better feel for what our actual a lot of funds from both will be.
Thank you, Tom.
That'd be my only reservation, but thank you.
With that said, talking about funding, the next project is, we discussed previously before, just a quick update, the SWIFT that is out at the highway department. There has not been much done on that. However, in the next month or so, we are going to start moving ahead with some of the planning, at least, to bring to you for approval. We do want to put in a disinfectant / cleaning bed area for removal of sand, grit, salt, sand, etc. from the truck bed. Something that we can actually collect all of the debris out of there so that we are no longer doing any surface water pollution. We do want to improve one of the salt barns that's out there now. We need to shore it up, or we're going to lose that within the next couple of years too. In addition to that, we are looking at adding some of these salt barns. It wouldn't actually be a permanent structure. It would have a more solid base. However, it would more just be a covering, not a building. Therefore, it wouldn't necessarily need any kind of DNR approval to be built in this floodway. Yeah, so what we can do actually is we'll have a shelter, per se, having the roof covered, and you can have sides, but if we're leaving maybe a 2-foot gap, then that bottom of that wall is above the floodway. And our posts are negligible as far as what we're actually constructing. We can still consider it a somewhat temporary building, temporary structure, therefore not a permanent structure of the floodway. We are grandfathered in anyway. And as long as we have our, the firmer, I wouldn't even call it a concrete, more of a roller compacted concrete, if you would, base in, then what we can actually do is say that that's just compacted ground. Therefore, we are not adding any kind of obstruction to the floodplain. And therefore, don't really need any kind of permitting or any kind of, we would notify and just get a tacit approval, but we don't have to go through and get a LOMAR or any kind of modeling or any kind of extended engineering effort. So the next couple months, though, we do want to start bringing this to the commission, because we will end up coming back for a little bit more money to construct what we do need. But this is to alleviate the fines that we are expected to get from IDEM starting this year. I don't know how strict they're going to be, obviously, with everything that's happened, because they've ceased inspections, and I don't know when they're going to start resuming them. And when they do, I'm sure they're going to have a backlog. However, I do want to at least have a plan in place, and we may not be spending that money this year. We understand that, and it may be that we put this on the planning phase throughout this year, coming up with this budget time now. And next month, though, we want to be able to at least allocate the funds for this next year to build. And that way we can show IDEM we are making progress, this is what we're looking for. We do want to put in a grid separator closer to where the channel leaves the site. So there are a lot of little improvements that we do want to make to the site that will alleviate any type of fines and or violations that we have tonight.
I want to say I'm very happy, but I also want to make make sure that we're keeping, the floodplain manager happy, and make sure that you have a letter from Susie DeLay from DNR, so Laura can put that in her folder, cause I mean, that's an NFIP, and I just wanna make sure that we're keeping everybody on the same page. when we're
Understood.
doing violations.
Understood, yeah, it's a fine line to keep everybody happy.
Good deal.
And trying to be a good steward of the county line too, so.
Absolutely.
Sometimes those regulations can take them under their own and cost,
Oh, I know.
excessive amount, so. But we're trying to minimize that while, making the highway department work with it while they're very functional.
Yeah, thank you, Tom.
Thank you very much. Need anything further from us on that?
I do not, that was just more of a general update for you. I will probably come back to you then, not the next meeting, but the meeting after. After we have our budget discussions and get those into the auditor, and then we're gonna our plan, getting our approval for the plan going forward. Thanks.
Thank you, Tony. Next up, we have Mr. Mark Toomey.
Sorry.
You had copies of that road.
I'll try not to take any more than an hour of your time. I'm requesting a transfer possession.
I don't wanna do this, and the reason for that is, it does have some numbers to it.
The coroner's
We are gonna
office.
put this out.
She has it currently.
Like, this will be something that we're gonna go to, I don't want contractors to see an actual number from them. Okay.
So, within the last 2 years, I put new tires on new batteries. We've had quite a bit of work done to it. It's operational, I think should be several years. So, we got a new truck via grant, so,
You can say though, it's about 220,000.
So she does plan to use it long-term, even beyond the health emergency.
all she has is a mini.
Yeah.
So you can't really get all the equipment she needs in there, especially for right now.
Sure. Any questions for Mark on the transfer of one of the vehicles under EMA over to the Morgan County Coroner's Office?
Motion to transfer to the coroner.
Motion for approval has been made. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion made and second has been made. Is there any other comments? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign.
Thank you.
That was easy. Thank you. And I do apologize that the agenda went the way that it did. I should have grabbed you earlier.
That's all right. I'm salaried, so it doesn't.
See you guys next week.
I try to knock a couple of these things out here real quick. We have a non-disclosure agreement, confidentiality with the state of Indiana and any of our contractors that we would utilize. Any commentary on this from a legal perspective?
I think it's pretty straightforward, and, I reviewed it as Josh did as well. I think, it's fine as it is. It's for the most part formality, but, does, advise, employees regarding the confidentiality and non-disclosure.
Seems pretty straightforward to me.
Motion to approve the agreement.
Motion to approve has been made. Is there a second? Motion made and seconded. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries 3-0. I know Jeannie was here earlier to talk about the Ex Forte. That is their IT consulting contract. It looks pretty similar to what they presented to us in the past. I would suggest that we just go ahead and act on executing the contract. It's already been vetted by their office, but I'll defer that to the board.
Motion to approve.
Motion to approve has been made. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by stating aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries 3-0. Next on our agenda, we have a couple of park expenditures. I will admit that I have not had a chance to review this particular piece. So if either Josh or Kenny could provide some additional information, that would be helpful.
I can start. So, Valina Fresci has requested that the park be permitted to buy some new picnic tables. She has a cost in there of approximately $2,200 for the picnic tables, and then $2,200 for a split rail fence that she would like to see put up at the Wilbur Park to kind of denote the property lines. One of the things that she mentioned was that if we were to put up a split rail fence, a surveyor would need to mark the property line boundaries, which if they're not already done, yes, we would agree with that. And so I've simply put this before you guys to decide if this is something, in lieu of having a park director, these kind of decisions tacitly fall to you all, and so this is the information we have. I do believe that there was one follow-up email from Belita that said the initial price was for a rebate for Menards. I think that deal might be over, so I believe it is 11% higher than what she quoted for the fencing material. And I believe Mr. Hale was talking to some surveyors to see what that would cost.
Yeah, my 2 cents on this, actually, basically just getting the 5 picnic tables for town Waverly, split rail fence for the Wilbur Community School. You do have, money in that budget, and the 4,400 to $4,000, what I told her that I would just, say it ought to come out of there. To me, she's went to a lot of work and getting numbers and prices. As far as the survey, I talked to Mike Shepherd. He's usually always the low bidder, and I talked to Mike whenever I get quotes, and Mike said it'd be about $900 to go ahead and put them 4 corners on there. So I would move that we go ahead and do this and allow them to be paid and funded out of the park board budget.
We have a motion on the floor to approve the purchases. Is there a second? I'll second the motion. Any other discussion? All those in favor of adoption signify by stating aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries 3-0. We have one additional appropriation request that we would forward to the council. No, we have more than one. One in the amount of $50,000 and one in the amount of $28,000. Do I have that correct? Okay.
Motion to send those.
Motion's been made to send to the council. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Any other discussion? All those in favor of adoption signify by stating aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries 3-0. Next up, we have good news to share in that our application into the Office of Community and Rural Affairs, better known around here as OCRA, we have requested a grant of $250,000 to provide support to Morgan County small businesses, and we were awarded that full amount. The Lieutenant Governor made an announcement on, I believe it was Thursday, that we had been awarded the amount. And so we have a couple of things that we need to do to move forward. Probably most notably is to set a committee together. And Josh has been working on that, and I will have him share with you all the proposed makeup of the committee and the next steps that we have so that we can get the necessary consent to move forward.
Thanks, Brian. So in thinking about this, as part of our application, we had to lay out how we would, a framework for selecting businesses. The main intent is to be fair and equitable, and to do that in the most expeditious way possible. And one way we consider doing that, as county commissioners, we may not be as familiar with some of the businesses. So right now I am proposing to you that we look at the directors of the chambers for Martinsville and Mooresville. They have a pretty good pulse on the business community and the different halves of the county. I have spoken with them. They would both be more than happy to be part of this committee. Mindy Taylor with the Mooresville Chamber did say she may have one of her executive members be in her stead, but it would be somebody from the board of directors. Two other positions, we thought a 5-member board made sense, so that it's not too unwieldy. The Morgan County Economic Development Corporation, Mike Dillon here with our chair said he would be more than happy to be interested if the commissioners would like his involvement. And we thought it also made sense to have a commercial banker involved. While obviously the intent is to help businesses, we still want to make sure that these are businesses that are thriving and that this is a bridge gap for them, not something that a business may not have made it anyways. So we would like to bring that commercial banking expertise to this process. And so we asked Mike that he would reach out to the commercial bankers that represent the EDC board, which would essentially give the EDC 2 members that could be part of that. And then I thought it made sense to have a commissioner, since this is obviously grant money given to you all. Now, this is the 5-member board that I'm proposing to you. Certainly you are more than welcome to change that and invite anyone that you would like. That's what I wanted to offer to you as a starting point.
Thank you, Josh. You should note that the application had to be on behalf of a unit of government, but the involvement of the private sector is encouraged. And so this gives us the ability to oversee with a light hand the distribution of this grant money, but most importantly to get people involved in the decision making that are closest to the situation. So I fully support a small committee of 5 people to include a commissioner, the head of the Economic Development Corporation, the heads of the 2 chambers, and then Mr. Wade Phelps, who is a banker at Home Bank, who specializes specifically in small business lending and manages their small business administration program. I think that's personally a great framework going forward. But what do you guys think? So we can determine, we should probably also determine who from the Board of Commissioners is going to serve as well, so that we're not holding that up past the 18th. We'll probably need to convene prior to that. Yeah, I figured that was good. I'm happy to do it. It's a short-term project. These are grants, not loans. So the committee work should be, for a fairly short duration, and I'm happy to serve if that's what the board would like for me to do.
I would think it ought to be, it just makes sense. You're already on the EDC for the council, for the commissioners, and I think it'd be a great fit for you.
Well, if you want to put that in the form of a motion, we'll vote on it.
Make a motion, we go ahead and appoint Ryan Goodwin to the 5-member committee to move this Oprah grant process along.
We have a motion on the floor that I would serve as the commissioner's appointee to this 5-member board. Is there a second? Motion made and seconded. Any other discussion? All those in favor signify by stating aye. Aye. Opposed? Same sign. Motion carries 3-0. So we'll then get this group together. We'll start to vet out an application and keep the commissioners informed of that throughout the process. Anything you'd like to add to that, Josh?
No.
Good for now. Thank you, gentlemen. And thank you to Josh and Deb and others that worked on that application. It was great to see a positive response back, and we can provide some help. Moving on to old business. I think some of these things we're ready to act on and some we are probably not. I do not believe we yet have an appointment to Monroe Township Fire District, so we can continue to hold that. Request to use county property. There was a request previously made for a baby contest, I believe for the Morgan County Fair, and then also Stability First. I don't remember the specifics of the events though. I think the fair contest, they wanted to use this building during the fair. possible that, I think it's quite possible that they would be safe to do that. We could look at handling it like we did the last park request, which was to go ahead and grant conditional approval, subject to the fact that it not be in any conflict with state, state, local, or federal health guidelines. Given the governor's objective to have Indiana back on track by July 4th, that would allow our county fair to operate this year. So we're probably safe to move forward. What do you guys think?
And just to provide some, to pull up the old minutes, some clarity, they were, the fair board said they were expecting around 100 people and 40 babies in this room, and the Stability First item was on the courthouse square for June 13th.
So just taking a quick look at you said June 13th?
June 13th, July 25th in here, which was a Saturday.
Okay. So beginning on June 13th, the state would be beginning stage 4 of getting back to business as usual. Unless facts change that, social gatherings of 250 or fewer would be permissible on June 13th. So I'd be okay moving on both of these, just consistent with what we've done before, we give conditional approval, but that it not be in conflict with government guidance or health guidance. Thoughts or other ideas?
I'm fine with that.
If there are no other questions or discussion, entertain a motion.
Move that we go ahead and allow the fair for the baby contest here as well as Stability First for the courthouse lawn, as long as it don't conflict with anything at the county, state, or federal level on the gathering.
Motion to approve with those conditions has been made. Is there a second? I'll second the motion. Any other discussion? All those in favor signify by stating aye. 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 Opposed, same sign. Motion carries 3-0. Do we have further updates on NDOT road transfer?
So we had tabled this discussion, pending, Commissioner Roy's, his points of how he wants to change the road. We've not been able to, myself and the county administrator, have not been able to pin down a meeting with NDOT to actually discuss the formalities, but that is in the process. Some things to note for the commissioners. In my review on a lot of things, funding related, the number of bridges in the county does not actually affect funding. So taking in these bridges does not actually guarantee us more funding over the years. That was a note that I was actually not aware of. I did believe we got something, but that isn't the case. The point right now would be that if we did not take in those, and I believe the 4 bridges, and left those with the state, that would be 4 bridges out of about 13,000 that the state are maintaining, and that you would be giving up the essentially the authority and the right when you want to actually, when they need it, they would be a higher priority for the county. They would not necessarily be a high priority for the state. That would be my biggest case in point. However, I do understand the commissioner's point about funding in future years. 30 years down the road from now, there would be some type of overall upgrade or rehab that would have to happen to those 4 bridges. We are not going to tell our highway guys to not salt. We're not going to tell them to lift up the blades. So we're still going to end up maintaining in the day-to-day operations. However, the overall expenditures, those would be prime projects though for an LPA project. For several conversations that I have had that were not necessarily directly related to this, bridges that are more or less conveyed to counties and local agencies due to state roads that are coming through, or new access roads, this is still a very unique situation with I-69 coming through. Those are generally more a high priority for LPA projects. So applying for the project, getting federal funds, you will more than likely get, because they understand the need and the location, the proximity to a high travel interstate, you would be able to higher priority for getting federal funds at an 80-20 match in future years. However, I don't believe NDOT's going to really bulk about where we stop the access road maintenance, but the bridges, we still do have a conversation. So.
Very good, thank you, Tony.
Thanks, Tony.
Last item under old business, we have one item that was discussed during our meeting last week, but we had, or 2 weeks ago, as it relates to the improvements made at the Reporter Times building. We had talked about this, but did not actually have this change order or job description in the packet itself. And that is an $1,800 expense on our curbs in the parking lot, as well as work on that window box that's at the front of the building. So I present that to you for approval.
So moved.
Motion on the floor to approve. Is there a second? I'll second the motion. I should note that it's broken down into 2 sections. It's $1,150 for the curbs in the parking area, and then the $1,800 for the window at the entry. Motion on the floor has been made, or there is a motion on the floor made and seconded. Any further comments or discussion? All those in favor of adoption signify by stating aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign.
Abstain.
1 abstention on a vote of 2-0. Next, we have payment of claims. This is for 2 payrolls, April 17 and May 1st, as well as accounts payable in the amount of $1,500,741.60. Not aware of any holds or transfers. I did not see any. Would entertain a motion on the claims voucher.
So moved.
Motion is made to approve. Is there a second? Motion made and seconded. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. And then, last item on our minutes, we have received minutes from Deb for March 16th, 19th, 24th, April 6th, and April 20.
Move to approve.
Motion to approve has been made. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Any further discussion? All those in favor of the motion signify by stating aye. Aye. Those opposed? Motion carries 3-0. Our next meeting will be Monday, May 18th at 6:30. Motion for adjournment.
I have one more item.
Sorry, Judge.
Sorry, it didn't make it onto the agenda, but it is past business. Previously, the Kreider and Kreider agreement came before you all. We did get the power usage for that base station. It was just shy. It was around $12 per year. It ran 24 hours a day. We have updated that agreement to include $15 per year to be paid at the start of the year. Everything I've talked to, Kreider and Kreider have indicated they'll be more than happy to sign the agreement as is. And so you have the updated agreement in your packet.
Motion to approve the Kreider agreement.
Second.
Motion to approve has been made and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by stating aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Anything else we need to cover? Motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Motion's made. I'll second. All those in favor of adjournment signify by saying aye. Aye.
Yeah.
We'll see you back on the 18th. And then, Eric, if we could have those like a 5-minute recess, and then we'll join Convene Solid Waste.